Guys. So I'm jumping on, like I said today, for our feature tonight, which is Ask the Physio. So if you are coming on live and you have any questions, pop them in the comment and hopefully I'll be able to give you some answers to that. But just to introduce myself, my name is Rachel. I am co-founder of Active Health in Hollywood, County Down, Northern Ireland, with my husband, David. We are both chartered physiotherapists. We specialise in musculoskeletal physio, so anything to do with back pain, neck pain, shoulders, knees, anything to do with your musculoskeletal system. I am also a stock Pilates instructor. In fact, I've just finished teaching a couple of reformer Pilates classes tonight and giving me the time to jump on now and answer some questions. So we had a few sent through to us today through the messaging, so I thought I'd just go through a couple of them and see if I can give some good answers to them. One of the first ones, which I thought I'd cover really simply, is can I come in to see a physio if I haven't seen my GP yet? And the answer is absolutely yes. If you are coming to us privately and you're not using your insurance company, you can self-refer, you can come and see us, absolutely no problem. Physios are qualified in assessing, diagnosing and treating conditions. If there's anything that we feel concerned about that we think you need to see your GP, then we will refer you straight back. We'll send a letter or we'll even call the GP to let them know that we want them to follow up on anything that we're concerned about. But in general, most things to do with the musculoskeletal system, we can assess and treat appropriately without having a referral from your GP. If you have health insurance, it depends on your policy. It used to be the case that insurance companies always insisted that you had a referral from your GP to physio. That's happening less and less these days. I think the insurance companies have cottoned on to the need for fast access to physio, that not making people wait to see their GPs. But if your insurance company does need a referral, then you do need to speak to your GP so that they can refer you through to physio, and that's just a stipulation of your insurance company for them to do that. So hopefully that answers that question. The other one that I got asked today, which is quite pertinent as I've just finished teaching Pilates, is Pilates good for me if I have a bad back? Which the answer again, absolutely yes. We started teaching Pilates. I started teaching Pilates probably 10, 11 years ago, and we added it onto the services that we provided at the clinic, really because we knew that that kind of movement and that kind of strengthening, rehabilitation, flexibility worked really well for people who were struggling with pain in their back and who needed to build up that core stability through that. We find that classes, even if people come to a class once a week, that tends to be enough to keep them maintaining a good level of mobility, a good level of control over what's going on with their back, that it really becomes not a problem for them, which is fantastic. I would probably be a little bit controversial among the Pilates population or the Pilates instructors population, in that I would say that if you were a very strict Pilates instructor in terms of the techniques and the form and everything like that, that is excellent, and that works really, really well. But what I find helps people the most is just getting them moving. Most of us spend our days in very sedentary positions, whether we're sitting in a car, sitting at a desk, watching TV, sitting on our smartphones. We've become so sedentary that actually that's the problem now. It's generally, we don't see as many people coming in who are injured from falling off a chair or different activities. What we see are people coming in with injuries and pains that have happened gradually over time, and it's usually because of that sedentary nature, that if they're not moving, they talk about sitting is the new smoking, and that's what causes problems. We need to move more. And so if we, there would be some people that would say Pilates is a load of rubbish for core stability, things like that. I don't agree with that, but I also think that actually it's functional movement. That's the key, the functional movement. Getting people moving. In a class, you move in ways that you just don't in your day-to-day. You don't twist around, you don't rotate, you don't side bend. extend, flex as much as you would. So actually doing that, keeping that mobility in your spine, in around all the tissues in around your spine, makes a huge difference. The strength will come, but what people find when they start Pilates is actually they feel benefits straight away. That's not because they've suddenly got stronger, that's because they're actually just moving. And that's the key. So, you know, I have my best friend is a physio, a Pilates instructor who works in New Zealand, and she just opened her own studio, and it's called Just Move. And it's such a simple name, but that's essentially what it is most of us just need to move. We just need to get up and move. It's as simple as that. So yes, Pilates is an excellent way to do that. That's the key, because it will move you through every range of movement you can in a safe, in a supervised way that will give you the confidence that you are then able to go and do that yourself, and give you confidence that your back is strong, your back is able to withstand these forces. There isn't anything really seriously wrong with it. We just need to move it and build the strength and keep doing that over time. You know, it's not something that we do for a few weeks and then it's fixed and that's sorted. Life is, our bodies need to move more and more, and we need to keep that up, especially as we get a bit older. I know I'm, you know, over 40 now, and it takes a little bit more work to keep myself flexible, to keep the strength there. And so we need to do that more and more as we go. So hopefully that's answered that question. Last one I have here today is, I hurt my back today, bending over to put my shoes on. Quite a simple thing, but it can happen. And it's now extremely sore and I can't get comfortable. What should I do? So that's super, super common, unfortunately. And sometimes it's the simplest thing that we do that causes this acute pain. Most often that acute pain is just a huge amount of muscle spasm. So people get worried about discs and about joints and all these things going on in our back. And yes, there can be problems with those, absolutely. But very often that very acute pain where you feel like you can't move, you can't get comfortable, is because your body has reacted in a protective way to that pain, and it has just clammed up. So basically your body's way of protecting yourself is to tighten it as much as it can so that you don't move, because your brain will go, well, if I move it hurts, so let's not move, and it won't hurt, which unfortunately is probably one of the worst things you can do. So it's really important, even when you have this acute pain, that you try to move as much as you can within your pain range. So I'm not talking about pushing into huge pain and causing yourself lots of problems, because that will just cause more muscle spasm, which will cause more pain. But finding positions of ease, so finding positions that you're comfortable in. One can be lying flat on your back with your legs up in what we call a tabletop position. So resting your calves onto a chair, and so that your hips and knees are at 90 degrees, and letting yourself rest there comfortably. But like anything, don't stay in any position for too long, because the key is the movement. Trying to do little bits and often. So try to stand for a little bit, lie down for a little bit, sit for a little bit, finding those positions of ease, possibly getting some heat onto it to help with the muscle spasm. Some people find ice can be helpful. I, in general, find most people find the heat is a little bit easier when it is this muscle spasm. If you have an acute injury where you've caused trauma, that's when we want to use the ice. But for this muscle spasm, then we want to use heat, which just helps increase the blood flow, helps those muscles release out a little bit more with it. So like I said, the key thing is to really try to keep moving as much as you can within your pain range, to know that that is safe to do, and that is actually what's going to help you. One of the worst things you can do is not move, lie down, don't do anything, because then everything gets tighter and seizes up and it becomes more difficult. So you've got to keep the blood flowing, you've got to keep the tissues released. And if needs be, you can talk to your GP about getting some pain medication. If you're really acutely sore and you really can't get comfortable to sleep, then it is beneficial in the short term to take some pain medication from your GP, because that then allows you to be able to keep moving and be able to do the things that you need to do the exercises, to do the stretches that you need to do to really help things settle down. We often hear people who come in and say, I don't like taking painkillers, it's just gonna, you know, then I don't know how bad it is. And I would always say to them, there's no benefit in being a martyr. There's no benefit in being in pain. In fact, in being in pain will restrict what you can do and restrict the things that you need to do to get better. So in the short term, it can be beneficial to help get you moving and get you back into doing what you need to do. And that's really the key thing with it. If things don't settle down in a couple of days, generally with that, I would advise seeing a physiotherapist for an assessment and for treatment, and they can very quickly find out what's going on, give you a good diagnosis, give you a good idea of whether you need some treatment, and what exercises, specific exercises for you. It's very difficult to give out individual advice over something like this if we don't have all the information, and what works for one person won't work for somebody else. So that's where getting a good assessment and a good diagnosis will be really beneficial, so that you can get that really specific advice. But in the first couple of days, and most people who have an acute attack do find that, a couple of days of maybe taking some medication, doing the exercises, using some heat, things settle down quite quickly, and that's really the aim. But it's only if things last for a little bit that it is worth definitely seeing a physio and not letting things go on for too long. We always say to people, what I like to see is people coming in with back pain. I don't like to see people coming in with back pain, but I like to see people coming in within a week. If somebody comes into me and they've had, been struggling with pain for 6-8 weeks, then I know that that's going to take a little bit longer to help. If somebody comes in the acute stage, the easier it is to treat, the quicker we can get them back to normal life. The longer you've had something, the more adaptations your body has done, the more secondary problems you could come in with, and that's when that process takes longer. As you said, the longer you have something, the longer it takes to go away. So quick access, which is where the insurance companies, I think, have really kicked in, and knowing that people need quick access to physio rather than having to wait for long periods of time, maybe to get an appointment with the GP, and they've made that process a little bit easier. So key takeaway, keep moving. Know that it is safe to keep moving within your pain limits. Know that there is usually not anything majorly serious going on with your back. Your back is a strong, stable part of your body, and that can withstand quite a lot. Yes, it can get sore sometimes, but there are lots of things that you can do and that are safe to do, and it's important to keep moving with that. So hopefully, again, that's answered that question. But if you have any other questions in terms of what to do when you do have severe acute low back pain, then drop us a private message, put it in the Facebook messaging, or give us a call on our number, which is on the Facebook page. But that's all my questions that I have for tonight. So that was pretty quick and easy on me tonight, guys, which was good. Hopefully what we're going to do is add this feature in over the next few weeks, where we are addressing any kind of questions that anybody has. I'm hoping to bring in some of our other professionals that we have working here, possibly our sports podiatrist, to talk a little bit about choosing the right running shoe and maybe some different running injuries. And I'm going to bring my husband David Salagari on at one point, even though he hates the camera. We're going to bring him in. He is a headache specialist. And hi, Rachel. Just saying hello, come in. He is a headache specialist. He is a Watson Headache Institute Level 3 practitioner, the only one in the UK. And he has huge success in treating people with really debilitating chronic headaches. And so it will be really interesting to get him in to have a chat to you guys as well, because I think that's a topic that can be really, headaches can really put a huge mar on your life, and people who struggle with chronic headaches, it really affects everything that they do. So it's a really satisfying condition to treat, because you can really make huge changes to people's lives. So he will love that I'm going to get him on camera for that at some point. But thanks for checking in, guys, and for having a listen, and hopefully we will have a chat at some other stage and see how we go. All right, thanks, good night.